Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Your Morning Drive. I am Logan Lewis, coming to you from the internet airwaves on Riverside. Before we dive into the episode, we're going to go over a couple things. Number one, hit follow or subscribe, whether you're listening on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple, wherever you're listening. Make sure you hit subscribe so that no matter where you are or what you're doing, an episode notification will come to your phone on whatever platform you see your episodes on. Go ahead and share the link to the show with a friend that might want to hear this conversation. Of course, like I said, you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watch on YouTube. And whether you're listening on any or all of those platforms, leave a review, leave a thumbs up, leave a feedback, leave a comment, engage, and we will engage back. Of course, for following behind the scenes fun, social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, follow on all of the places to keep up to date with Your Morning Drive. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. My guest today is a powerhouse country artist with roots that stretch from Kansas to Texas and now to Georgia, where she's making the South her stage. Known for her fiery live performances and magnetic stage presence, she's opened for huge names like Chase Rice, Hunter Hayes, and Haley Witters. Her breakout hit Drinks with the Boys has racked up over 500,000 streams, and her latest EP, Volume 1, gives fans a front row seat to her signature sound, often compared to that of Lainey Wilson and or Miranda Lambert. Beyond the stage, she's a proud wife and mom to a very talented 6-year-old. Please welcome my new friend, Mary Kate Farmer. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy woman. You're killing it right now. So, I mean, I just appreciate you being so gracious with your time and wanting to hang out with me for an hour.
Listen, I'll hang out with anybody in a Zach Top hat.
I had to make sure I was sporting the country music attire today with my Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee shirt that I saw served up to me on TikTok. I don't know how many times, to the point where I was like, fine, I'll buy it.
At some point, you just have to give in.
You do. You honestly do. And then Zach Top saw him, me and the wife saw him when he came to Atlanta with Dierks Bentley just a couple months ago. And what a guy.
Definitely. What a guy. He is definitely like bucket list for me to open up for right there.
Absolutely. For sure. He's doing a good job. He's really killing it right now. So I mean, I'd want to open for him too. I think anybody would. Mary Kate, so before I kind of dive into, what you do and your career thus far, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Give me, parents, siblings, upbringing, kind of give me your little mini origin story.
Yeah, so I am the baby of four siblings. Grew up in a very big family. Grew up very Catholic, and very involved in the church and everything like that. And my parents were high school sweethearts from Olathe, Kansas, and they're still together this today. And they're just absolutely wonderful. I'm very close with my entire family, and started out kind of singing when I was 14 in Texas. My parents bought me a guitar and they were like, "Hey, girlfriend, see if you like it." And I decided to write my first song, came downstairs at 14 and wrote, one of my first songs for them. And my mom was like, "What have you been watching? Why are you singing about divorce? Like, you're not experienced in this at all." And they just called me an old soul because I would write about heartbreak and divorce at 14, not knowing anything about it. But they allowed me to kind of pursue it. I fell in love with writing and singing and performing. So they had me at every open mic in Texas, it seemed like, just giving me opportunity after opportunity. And I ended up playing a few shows in Texas. And then my dad's job brought us to Georgia. He was like, "Hey, how are you going to feel about moving in the middle of your high school years? That's tough." And I was like, "How far are we going to be from Nashville? I'm packed. Don't worry about me. I'm good." So we moved out to Georgia, and that's really where my career just flourished. I mean, it kind of snowball effect. One thing always leads to another, and it just continues to build. And I fell in love with Georgia and the people and the music here. Texas country is incredible. Do not get me wrong, but I have fallen in love with the waves of Georgia music over here. It's been so fun. We've had so many opportunities to be able to, open up for amazing people like you mentioned, and we play festivals and fairs all over the South. And I'm also married now, and I have a sweet little boy, and he comes on the road with me. My husband plays in the band and runs our sound when we don't have sound techs and drives our bus if we don't have a bus driver that weekend. I mean, he kind of is, his hands are in everything at that point. And my family, they are still my village when it comes to my music. Typically, you'll see them running merch. Typically, my merch person is related to me. It's one of my four siblings, or it's one of my parents, or a cousin, or an aunt, or somebody's there. It's a family, a whole family business at this point, and it's been really fun. And I love where we're at right now, getting to tour and continue to meet fans all across the South. It's been so fun. I love it.
Your morning drive is also present to us by Good Days Canned Cocktails. Good Days are a classic cocktail brand created in a convenient, ready to drink canned format for any occasion, whether it's a pool day, a boat day, a beach day, a graduation, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, anything in between. Good Days are there for you. Good Days are ahead when they are in your cooler, your fridge, your anything in between. Good Days has your back. If you want to be one of the first to try their drink, you can do so by visiting drinkgooddays.com/pages/find-us to find a store near you selling their drink. Of course, you must be 21 years of age to consume and purchase. That's awesome. There's so many things that you said there that piqued my interest and that I could relate to. Number one, grew up very Catholic, very involved with church. So I know, I know you know what Catholic Mass is like. Whenever I compare it to, when I met my wife, she was, she grew up in Nashville herself, and she was raised very Southern Baptist. So the first time I brought her to like Christmas Eve Mass with my parents, she was like, "What is this cult?" Like
It's
she
quite a
was.
match to break her in at, too.
It really, honestly, I probably could have eased her on in at like a regular Sunday Mass, but no, I just went all in and brought her to Christmas Eve and said, screw it, we're going to try it. Did not work out though. So now we go to another church. But another thing you said was you were talking about how close you are with your family. And I love that. I'm a huge family guy myself. Both my parents grew up in full houses with several siblings. So our Christmases and holiday get-togethers growing up were always so tight with too many people under one roof that there should not be enough, you know, pillows and beds for people, but we all made it work. That was just part of it. So I love that your family, whether it's your siblings or a cousin or your husband, everybody having a piece of the puzzle that make up kind of where you are right now. I think that's really, really special, and not a lot of people can speak to that.
Definitely. It seems to either be kind of one or the other when it comes to people. Some people are like, "Oh no, my family come to like one show a year," and then on our side, it's like, "No, there's somebody related to us at every show. I promise you that. They're doing something to help out. And if not, they're on, my son, they're taking care of my son back at home and still on duty. Somebody's always working."
So I wanted to spring right into the topic of family a little bit more. When I was reading over the notes that you had sent with my, of course, my booking and my podcast form, you'd mentioned that you were a mom and a wife. And when I read that, I was like, holy shit, I had no idea. Maybe I'm just not very attentive, but as soon as that happened, I went back to your Instagram and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and I couldn't find really anything. Is that by design? Because I know you put in your form to me that, you keep family a little on the down low. Is there a reason for that? Or were you saying, I don't want to crowd the feed with stuff that isn't promoting my music and my business? Kind of walk me through your mindset on that.
So I think because I feel like I have to live with cameras on me doing content and social media for music so often, and because it's my day to day job, that when it comes to being with my family, I am like, my phone's off. I don't want to be part of it. Like, I want to be 100% present. And I think that really came to be my truth during COVID because my son was so little during COVID that I got to be just 100% present with him throughout all of COVID. And I really cherish that time. We spent a lot of time on the road, a lot of time away from the family. That when I do get to be with the family, I don't want to have a phone in front of me. I don't want to, be doing content with my son. Like, that's not the life I want him to live. I want him to remember if mom's home, she's home with me and we're playing Hot Wheels or we're outside, riding bikes or doing something. But I never want my family and my music to ever one feel like it's more important than the other. And I dedicate so much time to my music that the time that I do reserve for family, like I want them to know that's for them.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that because, it's really depressing nowadays when you walk into a restaurant and you see an entire family of 5 all playing on their phones, and it's like, man, what happened to society? Because on one hand, it's a double edged sword. On one hand, I'm obsessed with this thing. I run the podcast on this thing. I run everything I do on this thing, and you do as well. But
Mhm.
so, how do we as a society break away from that when it's important? It's really difficult. But being intentional like that, your son looking back on these years in his early life, I know he'll appreciate it because I can't even imagine what things are going to be like when he's 25 and he's looking
That's
back. So to think about where we are now and how present you are now with him and your husband and your family, I think it's really cool and really important. Some people need to take notes. Maybe I'm one of those people. I'm not throwing shade, but
I
it's
think there's a
definitely easier
place
said than
and
done.
time for everything. There's a place and time for social media. There's a place and time for content. I think if it weren't for music, I would be off grid. I'd probably be on a flip phone. Like, honest to God, I'd be on a flip phone in the middle of nowhere and nobody would even know my name. And that time will come when I hang up music, whenever I get old and moldy.
Yeah.
There's also so many benefits to it though too. I mean, I have so many fans that I've never met in person, but tune into everything that I do and I get to share that online relationship. So like you said, double-edged sword, but um when we do have the time to spend with family, I mean, after watching both of my parents lose, I watched my mom lose her mom, and then I watched my dad lose his dad. And it really showed me how finite time is and how little we have. And I don't want to spend it in front of a ring light and a camera. I'd rather be with my parents.
Yeah, yeah, I respect it. I agree with you. But we'll see, we do the best we can and we just keep on trucking. So I was listening. I want to get to this right away too. I was listening all afternoon to your new EP that dropped not too long ago. I listened to it when it dropped because I was like, this is a girl I'm trying to chase to get on the podcast. Um and I listened to it then and loved it. I listened to it again today a couple times, and I was reminded when I listened today how much of an absolute banger that Richer Than I Seem is. Such a banger. So I kind of wanted to ask you to break down these songs that you included on this EP and why you chose them for this. Because I'm curious about how do you choose just 4 songs? I'm sure you've got several that are cut and ready to go that you're just sitting on. How do you decide what goes with a project? I mean, kind of dive into all of that for me.
So, Richer Than I Seem was definitely one I was ready to cut. I've had that one written for about 3, 4 years almost, maybe. So that one's been written and I've been sitting on it. I played it live a couple of times with the band. It performed really well live, which is kind of how I like to test my songs. So I will always play something live before I record it because I want to be sure that my audience resonates with it. I feel good playing it live. And I think that recordings translate better to live when we figured it out live. We go into the studio, then record it. And that way, when we're performing it, it sounds exactly like our record, like identical. And that's what I love. I want people to come in and be like, oh man, she sounds just like she does on the record. That's incredible. So with Richer Than I Seem, it was a really easy choice. I've been wanting to put that one out. Very me. It's very down home. I mean, I was literally writing one day because I was looking at prices for hotels during CMA Fest, and I was like, I cannot afford any of this. This is insane. But I'm not poor. I'm so rich in life. Like, this is insane. And so that's kind of where the idea came from. And it just turned out phenomenal after the studio. We loved it. And the other songs we had a couple that we were deciding between. Buckle, I got pitched. Buckle, I did not write. Cherie Austin, Will Rambeau. There's a couple other people on there as well. Hannah and they actually wrote the song and pitched it to me and said, "Hey, we have this song. We think it's perfect for you." And I've never recorded a song before that I didn't write, so that was kind of a test of faith, if you will. But as soon as they sent me the MP3, I listened to it and I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is on brand. My audience is going to love this. They're going to love the vibe. And it really helped kind of round out toward the end of the EP that I was looking for. And it's a banger. I loved it. Like killer song. They are so talented. So we threw that one on there. New Times Old Friends, which is in the middle, was a super special song to me because which I'm sure you have a group of friends, I'm sure, that you grew up with that you don't get to see, as near as often as you want.
Sure.
And my friend group was my high school friend group from here in Georgia, from my high school here in Woodstock, Georgia. And we only get to see each other now, it seems like at weddings when somebody's getting married. And there's a big group of us, about 12. And but we're all still in the same group message that we've been in since the 11th grade. And everybody still says happy birthdays or goes to dinners when we can. And truly, that song just became, I was sitting down one night and I was like, man, I miss these people so much. And I would do anything just to hang out one last time when we were in high school. Cause I don't really remember that last time we were all together. And that's kind of what kind of kicked and inspired that. And wanted to be sure I was able to release something that the college kids, after they go back to school, they're going to be like, man, I miss my hometown friends. I don't get to see them anymore, or once you're old like me, you're like, man, I don't get to see my friends anymore because we're all adults and grown. So, and then
Yeah.
but that very last track, One Dance, was like, oh gosh, a last minute ad, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before it dropped. We just kind of threw it on there. We were like, it's a bonus track, a little jingle, fun thing to do. And it's been one of the most fun songs to perform live.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And I was reminded through that explanation, another one of the things that you had mentioned from the get-go that I really resonated with, and that was the moving in the middle of high school and how much of a struggle that is. I don't know. I assume, did you move in between sophomore and junior year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. And it
My
was
gosh.
freaking horrible because I was like, Mom, Dad, also moved because of my dad's job. And I was like, guys, I'm going to be such an outcast. Everybody already has their friend groups established. Everybody's already comfortable with each other. I was like, what am I going to do? And they were like, you'll figure it out. And I did. And so did you, I'm sure. But it's a scary thing, especially in high school. Moving before high school, like before freshman year, that's doable. But in the
Yes.
middle, oh,
Yeah, it was scary for sure. I was so focused though, I think, on my music by that point. I was like, we'll figure it out. Hopefully the
yeah.
kids are nice. And they were so wonderful.
Hey guys, let's talk about another partner of the podcast, Branded and Devoted Designs. Are you looking to level up your company's merch game? Your brand deserves better than boring swag. If you contact Branded and Devoted Designs, you can level up with custom hats, shirts, tumblers, mugs, and more that your customers and clients will brag about. Go to www.brandedanddevoteddesigns.com to make your brand stick out. Mention that Logan from Your Morning Drive sent you, and they will give you 10% off of your order. That's brandedanddevoteddesigns.com. Tell them Logan sent you from Your Morning Drive for 10% off your order. So so let's rewind a little bit. Now that we've talked about EP and the songs that you've put out recently, let's go back. Let's kind of start this journey. So you move to Georgia in the middle of high school, and by this time you're already experimenting with music. You're writing music. I'm sure you've got, you're playing the guitar at home, you're singing to your family and friends. At what point is an opportunity presented to you? I know you said your parents had you on every open mic in Texas, but at what point in Georgia did you get to the place where you were starting to be either given or you were chasing them, or however it worked out, the opportunities to start to perform live?
So this is going to sound a little crazy. I had a manager who signed with me in Texas who ended up moving to Georgia with us. And he's still a super good family friend. He's like a second father to me. He's amazing. He's not my manager anymore, but he was with me for, gosh, years, it seems like. And he was the one who helped me start a YouTube channel, do some YouTube videos. Let's get you a couple more opportunities here in Georgia. Uh, and he got me a couple of like my first festival gigs, and those were what started to kind of make my name for myself. There was a couple bigger festivals, and then I opened for Craig Campbell at a Jug Tavern festival, and 94.9 The Bull also kind of played a key advocate. WB and Angie Ward, I mean, they have helped push me since I moved to Georgia. I mean, they've been wonderful. My manager kind of helped set me up with them at the time. And it, I mean, they have always advocated for me in the Georgia network. They've been absolutely wonderful throughout the entire process. But as soon as we got those first kind of opening acts, it's like doors started to kind of open. People knew who I was. We could play little bit bigger stages, little bit bigger stages. And it really wasn't though until after COVID that like things started really running, because I had like the Craig Campbell opening act and the Chase Rice opening act we did for a city event, just like a city promoter knew my name, threw me in there. And I was going to Kennesaw State University at the time and got to open for Hunter Hayes there as well. So, which was super cool. Super great guy too. He and his family were wonderful. Let us hang out, because I had never even had a green room at that point before. And they were like, no, y'all got to come back, have the whole experience. So cool. But yeah, we just, after COVID, I hit the ground running again, acoustic really hard, trying to get back up on those bigger stages. And we've built ourselves up to where we are now.
Wow, that's so cool. So many cool things. So you've been given, or you've been recognized rather, as Georgia's Country Female Artist of the Year a couple times. When you receive, well, first of all, congratulations on that. That's so huge. But additionally, what's it like when you receive that kind of validation? Because I'm a validation guy. So if I go out and I win, I'm a words of affirmation kind of guy. So, if I win podcaster award of the year or some stuff, I'm going to be like over the moon. That's all the approval I ever wanted. Like, or even just a simple good job from mom and dad, like that still goes a far way too. So when you receive an award as prestigious as that, is that like validation for you? Like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Cause I'm sure you have these days, like whether you're a business owner, an artist, or whatever you do, everyone's got those days where they're like, what am I doing? But when you receive something like that, does that change that?
I think it just kind of adds a little more fuel to your fire. Like you said, give you those signs like, hey, I am on the right track, or I'm doing things right. I must be doing something right at that point. But I mean, truly, like when it comes to like finding my validation, I will always find it in my fans at my shows. And like, I could never win another award in my life, but have one person at my next show be like, hey, you changed my life from that one song. Cool. So I'm done. But those, being honored in that way, especially with like the Georgia Country Awards and stuff like that, it's so affirming, like you said, because I'm big on affirmations too, words of affirmation. And it is really nice to have not only an organization honor you in that way, but also like your peers that you play with out on the roads and stuff like that. You like, hey, girl, like, great job.
Yeah, yeah, that's really well said. I agree. It just adds more fuel to the fire and more it almost motivates you like, okay, I don't even it's almost like when you win this award the first time, it's not like I'm assuming here, but it's not like you just set out to win it again year after year after year. It's just one of those things that's like, okay, I won it again. That's freaking fantastic. That's more fuel to the fire. I want to jump over. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I just have
No,
very ADHD thoughts, and they're just all rushing in at the same time. And I had kind of an outline, but screw the outline.
you don't need an outline.
Nah, we don't need outlines. I'm curious, especially when you're a smaller, newer artist, when you're first jumping up on stage at these festivals where the headliners are, crazy names, but you're one of the smaller names at the towards the bottom of the poster, but you're still performing in front of these massive crowds because they're all here to see their favorite artist. And you might be their favorite artist, but there's other artists there that are drawing in all this crowd. Is it especially as someone who's starting out, is it like crazy intimidating to jump up on a stage in front of possibly thousands of people when you're just starting out?
Oh, definitely. I think that when I opened for Chase Rice, we had I don't even know how many thousands in the crowd. We had a couple thousand of people there, and that was my first big crowd like that, and it was intimidating. I think I blacked out. That's just kind of what happened. You get on stage, it just blacks out, and you get through it, and then you wake up on the other side. But I think as I've progressed in my career, as I've learned, I've gotten to the point where I prefer a bigger crowd over a smaller one. I am so intimidated when it comes to like the listening rooms and the smaller venues like that, where it's such an intimate crowd versus, if there's a couple thousand people, you can't see all their faces, but you can see all 50 faces in front of you in a small room. And we just went out on tour with Drake Milligan this year. And there was a couple shows where it was a little bit smaller crowds, and I was way more nervous. And then we go to the next show, and it's a huge crowd, and I'm like, "Oh, that was nothing. Don't, no big deal." It feels very backwards.
Yeah, a lot of the things you're saying tonight very much so ring true to me because I agree with you. The bigger the crowd, the less nervous because it's not like, okay, let's just pretend there's 5,000 people in this room. 500 of them might hate me, but I would
You're
never know. But
exactly.
if you're in a room of 50 people and 10 people hate you, you're gonna notice.
Yeah.
So I definitely I definitely relate to you on that. How do you get over stage fright? Or did you not have it really because of course you're nervous like you said, but did you ever really have stage fright? I know your parents were getting you in at these open mics seemingly from a young age, so I mean, you you probably it's probably just like the only thing you've ever known, right?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, like when I first started playing all the open mics, my first song, we'd always be like, "Oh, that's her shaky song, let her get her nerves out, and then she'll be fine. After the first song, she's cool." And that's kind of how it started. But after a while, I think I became more comfortable on stage with myself than I did off. That now when I step onto that stage, I feel more comfortable than anything. My husband always laughs at me because he's like, "You're not you without your hat." Because as soon as I put the hat on, he's like, "It's over. You're a different person." But that's just the confidence that comes with the cowboy hat.
Yeah. We need to normalize. I know there's all these artists out there that are trying to normalize it, but we need to normalize like just wearing cowboy hats out and about all day every day. Cuz I
Yeah,
love my cowboy hat, but I wear it like once a year and I'm always so giddy to wear it because I wish I could wear it all the damn time, but if I go outside, if I go to Walmart with a cowboy hat, people are going to be like, "What the hell is this weirdo doing here?" Like
right.
I wish that wasn't the case. I love a cowboy hat.
See, that's the only good thing about Texas right now. They got their cowboy hats on all the time.
I'm jealous. I love that. One thing that I mentioned, Mary Kate, in the intro was the fact that your sound has often been compared to that of Lainey or of Miranda. How would you describe your sound? You know, because other people can say what they want. And even when I was listening to your music today, I was like, yeah, she sounds like Lainey Wilson, but not. Like, how would you pitch your sound to somebody who's never heard you before?
So I because I think my parents raised me very much on classic rock, but I am country to my heart, and I grew up in Texas around Texas country. That I'm somewhere right in the middle, you know. So I'm a little bit more edgier than some of your country, but I'm also, very roots, you know. You feel that in Richer Than I Seem, you know. I'm very down home. I'm very, very southern. You know, we were between Texas and Georgia. You know, you get a little bit of everything. But when it comes to that sound, I mean, it's just authentic and it's real. And I think that's why it's not quite Miranda, it's not quite Lainey, and it's not quite anybody because I mean, truthfully, it's just my sound. It's just what comes from me. And that's also why I like to record things that I write because I want to be sure what I'm putting out there sounds like me.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. I'm thinking about now, funny enough, do you remember where we kind of met? Because I remember. You might not remember because I know you've done a billion shows since then, but we connected very briefly at the Rock Down South
That's exactly what I was gonna guess. Rock Down South show.
event.
Yes.
Yeah, event in Buckhead, and
Mhm.
you, along with Ashley Walls, who's done this podcast in the past, you guys were there, and I was excited to see Ashley because at that point I had interviewed her and her episode had been out, and I met her parents, and they were super cool. But then, of course, I connected with you, with Cam Vance, with a couple of other folks there, and I was like, man, these guys rock. But that setting, is that one of the ones that you would be nervous for because it was such a
Yes.
intimate rooftop situation?
Yes, and it feels so dumb. Like, I feel so silly when I get up there and I'm, like, a little shaky and I'm like, "Okay, it's fine. I can do this. No problem." You performed it.
And
10,000 people.
and then what I didn't even realize before I got to that show was that it was set up in the way that you guys were just really just taking turns performing. You know, he would have the group of you get up on stage and then another group would get up. And I was like, damn, this has got to be nerve. You don't have a band, it's just you and your guitar. So I know that you love your band because that's something that you brought up in your questionnaire, and we'll get to that in a second. But do you like the intimate, just you and your guitar and the microphone? Do you prefer the band? What's your what's your taste there?
Um, I think I like a nice balance. I love playing with the band because I don't like being married to my mic stand at a show. I am all over the stage when it comes to my shows. So that's really, if I could play every instrument and dance around, like I would. But I can't, and I'm very bad at the other instruments. So we'll stick to just guitar. But it's also where I started. So there's something really special with just a moment of me and my guitar on stage. Is something that I will always return to. Even in our full band shows, we always break it down at least one song at minimum, just me and my guitar because that's the roots. That's the beginning of my music. And I think it's important that I always return there.
Yeah. Very well said. Very well said. I love this kind of age that, I've been to a lot of country concerts in the last couple years, and it seems like a trend that either I just didn't notice before, but it's happened. It happened when we saw Dirks Bentley and Zach Top. It happened when I saw Post Malone a couple years ago when he was on his first country tour, and a few other artists. They dedicate a portion of their show just to commemorate their band, where they'll go on a spiel about he's from Kansas City, this he loves to do that, he's our drummer, give it up for this guy. And then they do that for every band member, and I always think that's so cool because it's like, you You go to the movies and you see the new F1 movie and you're like, wow, Brad Pitt was so good in that. But think about all of the people behind the scenes, all of the writers, the editors, everybody that has a piece of the pie. Of course, the artist is important. Of course, Brad Pitt's important in this analogy, but it wouldn't come together if it weren't for the entire production, the entire piece. Do you have a relationship like that with your band where you're very much so like, I wouldn't be here without you guys. You guys are my bread and butter, you know?
Definitely, 100%. Like I said, kinda after COVID, we started acoustic kinda grinding and worked our way back up to the when things started to open back up for the full bands, and that's when I found most of the guys that are still on stage with me, and then my other drummer, he's a little bit newer to us, but I'm like, I'll cut off my left arm if it keeps you a part of this band. I'll do anything it takes. And then our other drummer that kind of subs in, he's been playing with me since I was 18. So I mean,
Wow.
it's those things that like these guys, I they're like family. I see them sometimes more than my family if we're on the road. And I know without a doubt 110% I would not be where I am today if it were not for them and their talents and their time and effort that they put in. I mean, I could not be a one woman show. I couldn't be able to put on the amount of shows that we do by myself. And I'm telling you, the energy, the talent, and the creativity that they bring. Oh my gosh, I could sing their praises all day long. And we do a portion of our song in our show too, where we dedicate a moment to them. They each get a wicked little solo to do and just have a moment to shine because they work their asses off and they spend so much time away from their families to play music with me in clubs and venues, and they are just incredible. I can't tell you how much I love them and how much they mean to me too.
That's awesome, and I know they love to hear that and appreciate those words because I do feel like I said kind of that a lot of the times the band gets overlooked for the main musician that's on stage, and that, it's natural. We all do it sometimes, but the band is an integral piece to the concert and just to the music career in general. Kind of in that same wavelength of being with your band, you're on the road together. What's on the road life like? I mean, I know you do a lot of shows here in the South, but I know you travel to South Carolina and you go to Augusta and Georgia, you go to Kansas, I'm sure. You do shows, I'm sure, here and there, all over the place. What's road life like? Is it the best? Is it lonely? Is it a crazy mixture of all of the above? What's the road like with Mary Kate Farmer?
So it's always crazy. It's very fun. I'm currently sitting in my tour bus right now. That's where we're at. Is usually we're either drinking or out to eat. My Some of my band members bring bikes to like bike around the city. My bassist is kind of our travel guide, so he finds the fun things to do when we're in the city, and he's like, "We can do this, 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 or this," and always gives us sites to go see, or if there's a cool, like, we went and saw the Allman Brothers tribute in one city. We went and, go through different museums, wherever we're at, We just went to Yellowstone when we were in Montana for a gig. So we got to do that, which was like bucket list for all of us. And so we get to have fun, when we're not on stage and we're not sweating and working our butts off, we're having fun somehow, some way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it just makes for like you said, everyone's away from their loved ones. Everyone is sweating their ass off, working as hard as can be to make the best shows and the best music as possible. So the least you can do is have fun while you're on the road.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we're super blessed because sometimes, my band members, their wives will come on the road with us for a gig or two, or we'll have, like I said, one of my family members on the road or a friend who comes with us. I mean, it's just, we're a big old family here and we're always having fun. We play games on the road. We play, the Switch and stuff when we're in the tour bus. But I mean, it's a party. It's fun. We love it. It's hard to be away from the family, of course, which is why when we can, we throw my son on the bus too.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned him because You are a mother and you've been a mother for 6 years or so now. What lessons from motherhood have you learned that also kind of show up in some of your music? And maybe it's music we haven't heard yet, but maybe it's already in some of your lyrics in some songs, maybe that's in music that's coming up. How do you incorporate that piece of your life into your music?
I think that so in Reap and Sow, which is one of my slower songs that we have out, it kind of details, the little things that I've learned along the way. Just, you got to water your grass to make it green. You can't be worried about what your neighbors got over there. You can't be worried about what everybody else is doing. Like, you've got your own thing going on and you got to water it. Otherwise, it's going to burn. And I think as soon as I became a mom, I think I got a lot of focus to when it came to music, that I was no longer worried about what, other people were doing in the industry or the time clock that I had on my shoulder. It was, I see what I need to be doing and I've got to do it. And I don't really have time for the bullshit anymore. And truthfully, that's what being a mom is. You no longer have time for any of the bullshit. You got to get your stuff done and focus on you. Otherwise, you're going to drown. And that's kind of what I got to do. I focus on my faith and my family and my music. And I think there's a newfound confidence with being a mom that I'm able to put into my business as music, which has really helped grow because I think I lost a lot of the fear that I didn't know I had when I became a mom.
Sure, sure. That makes sense. So we've talked about what you've got going on right now. We've talked about kind of the journey of getting there and getting to where you're at today. Let's talk about some dreams. Let's talk about the future. If you, I know we made a reference to our boy Zach Top at the beginning of the show, but if you could tour right now, if I said Mary Kate Farmer, you're getting a call from this artist and this artist says, I want you to come on tour with me next tour season, who is that artist?
Morgan Wallen.
Oh, hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about the company that makes your morning drive happen every week. Are you looking to elevate your business and your brand? Hammerhead Creations is here to help. They offer top tier marketing services, including social media management, website design, and Google page optimization, ensuring your business reaches the right audience. Whether it's a side hustle or your full time grind, their expert team, me, is ready to help you grow. Plus, if you're into podcasting like me, Hammerhead Creations offers full support for both in-house shows and external podcast creation. From concept to production, we will help you bring your ideas to life. Visit www.hammerheadcreations.com and discover how we can take your business or your podcast or both to the next level. Hammerhead Creations, swim with the big sharks. Yeah,
But second Zach Top for sure.
yeah. Morgan is just, he is, I have not seen him live yet. Have you?
I have not seen him live. I've seen, I think, every recorded performance of his live, and his stage presence and show is everything.
It's just unreal. And we've all been jamming his new album when it came out, a couple months ago or so. And I don't know why I had this epiphany 2 nights ago, but I literally like just called my wife. We were apart for some reason. I called my wife and I was like, we have to see Morgan Wallen live. Next time he comes to Atlanta, I don't care how much it costs, we gotta go. I mean, whether we squad up with a huge group of people and we all go, or whether it's just me and you, we have to go see this guy. Because his, like you said, his stage presence is electric. He performs like 40 songs, which is just crazy. Most artists do like 10 or 15 and then they're done. Morgan does like realistically like 25 or 30, but still that's so many songs. But he just has that many bangers and he's
Yes.
still so
Like,
young. How the hell is he going to be able to sustain this?
oh my gosh, he's gonna have the greatest hits tour ever. It's gonna last like
Oh,
three different eras. I swear.
I can't wait to see Morgan Wallen doing like a greatest hits tour when he's like the age of Brooks and Dunn. And he's
Right.
a little older, he's a little grizzled, he's been through it a time or two, but he's
But it's gonna
still got
have
all
to
of
be
these
like a
hits.
4-hour concert because every song is a hit.
It's gonna have to be like, I haven't seen her live, but I've heard it's almost gonna have to be like Taylor Swift, where there's no opener. It's just Taylor Swift. Or John
Exactly.
Mayer, I know, does that too. Is he just performs by himself because he can't have an opener because of curfews and city regulations. He can't have people out longer than 4 or 5 hours. So it's gonna just have to be a solo Morgan show.
Hey, people will still come. I will still be there. Count
I
me
mean, I'll
in.
be there. So Morgan, if you're hearing this, man, next time you come to Atlanta, if you want to hook up Mary Kate Farmer and her friends and family, as well as me and my wife Catherine, with some great seats. Hell, they don't even have to be great. Just get us some seats and we'll come
Take a
through.
launch.
Yeah, I'll take lawn. I'll take nosebleeds because whether I'm in the front row or whether I'm in nosebleeds, I still know all the words to your music.
Exactly. My
So
son basically told me, he said, "Mom, I don't care what you do, just open for Morgan Wallen. I wanna see him live."
that's
I'm like,
amazing.
"Okay, you got it, pal. Tall order from
There
Soul."
besides Morgan and Zach, is there a venue or an event that you've never performed at yet that you'd love to be able to get a chance to participate in?
Yes, Madison Square Garden. I have had a photograph, like, framed photograph picture of the outside of the arena, like an aerial view of the arena, because since I played my first open mic, I was like, "I'm gonna sell out Madison Square Garden or at least play it one day." So, I think as long as I get to play Madison Square Garden, I'll be like, "Alright, I'm good."
Yeah, I mean, that's the arena of all arenas. I mean, if you perform Madison Square Garden, whether you're a comedian or a rock and roll band or a country artist, that's peak. You can't get better than
Yep,
that.
yep. Um,
Um, so now, Mary Kate Farmer, what do people call you? Mary Kate, Mary, MK?
MK usually.
Okay, okay. MK, 5 years from now, musically, personally, where are you?
Hopefully somewhere warm. Hate the cold.
Yeah.
No, I hope to still be on the road. I want to still be playing music. I want to still be on my tour bus, living life, and being able to go visit all my fans across the US because there's still so many places I haven't gotten to play at. There's still like a lot under my belt that I want to get there. So I just think that I will still be playing music in some sort of fashion and still be trying to make headlines, you know?
I love it. I love it. And I know that you released the EP in April, but what do we got coming, MK? Do we have anything coming within the next 6 months or so that you don't even have to say what it is, but you could just give me a hat tip and I'll understand that something's coming.
Well, with the EP being volume 1, I will tell you there is a volume 2.
Yeah.
And this one's arguably almost might be better. So I don't know. I'm just excited for new songs. You know how you get.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Sweet. We'll be looking forward to it. So now, MK, I'm going to ask you a collection of rapid fire questions that kind of get to the end of our episode together. And they kind of, we just talked about your country music career. We talked about your family. We talked about where you came from, Catholic, Kansas, all of the things. We talked about all of that. But now I want to talk to you as Mary Kate Farmer, the woman without the country music. I want to know who you are when that hat is off. So here we go. Are you ready for my rapid fire questions, MK? All right. Number one, first and foremost, what is your favorite movie?
My what?
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Steel Magnolias.
Ooh, good choice. Good choice. Okay. What was your first job ever? The first time you were paid by somebody to do something, what was it?
They had a fancy name for it. They called it a vet technician. But in reality, I scooped poop for a vet and cleaned up. It was really
Wow.
gross. Really gross.
Wow. You want to talk about starting from the bottom. You're literally the, ooh, this is fun. I can't wait to get your answer to this one. So now, rather than performing in a music festival, MK, you are organizing this music festival. You're putting it on right here in Woodstock. You're organizing your performers. Who are your three headliners? They could be alive or dead.
Ooh, okay. Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Reba McEntire.
Ooh, fire.
I'm a big
Damn.
Rogers fan.
Yeah, oh yeah, let's put that lineup together. Jeez, crazy. On a day that you're not touring or working in some capacity, which I'm sure is few and far between, but it's here and there, how do you take care of yourself? How do you recharge? What's self-care like for Mary Kate Farmer?
Typically, I'm on the lake if it's warm because we live on the lake out here and live on the boat during the summer. And if it's cooler weather, I'm probably inside baking something or cooking. I love to cook. So I'm usually eating.
What is a piece of advice that you were given early on in your career that still rings true to you to this day?
You'll never go anywhere in your bedroom. So it doesn't matter how big you want to get in your career. Even if you don't even want to get that big, or even if you don't know where to start, you'll never go anywhere singing in your bedroom. So sing where people can hear you.
I love that. That's excellent advice. What is your biggest fear?
The unknown. I have a real hard time with the fear of the unknown. So I gotta pray a lot about that. I pray a lot about that. Like I gotta release that. And outside of that, it's whales and aliens.
Whales and aliens and the unknown. Hey, and to be fair, there's a lot of unknown about whales and aliens.
Which
So
is
they
why I
kind of,
don't go to the ocean. I stay on the sand.
no, I was talking to a friend last night and she was saying that today, the day that we're recording this, she's getting on a plane with her family to fly somewhere in Mexico so that they can swim with whale sharks. And I was like, "Are you a serial killer?" She was
Oh,
like she was
thanks.
like, "Yeah, we're going to swim with whale sharks. It's going to be fun." I was like, "Okay, let me know how that goes."
Maybe in a cage.
Yeah.
I still don't know that I would do it. Oh God.
I don't know if I would do it either. I'm a little chicken myself of when it comes to the great big ocean. Um and then lastly, MK, your main motivation, your main motivator, what pushes you? What is your morning drive?
It's my family, for sure.
I love it. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
So, MK, now I want to give you the mic and have you talk to the people listening, tell them how to find you, where to find you, what's coming, where to listen to your music, all of the above. Tell people where you're at.
Yeah, so y'all can check me out at marykatefarmer.com. All of my social media handles are at Mary Kate Farmer. Very easy. And we've got a lot of new music on the rise, a lot of shows coming up. We're visiting a lot of new cities this year. We've got dates in Chicago, New York, Colorado. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up the pipeline. So make sure you guys are following along. Make sure you guys are joining in because I would love to see some familiar faces at my shows. That is one of my favorite things. I love seeing people I've seen before and having, repeat people come out to my shows. It's so fun. And yeah, y'all just be ready for some more country music and some more FK.
Hell yeah. We love that. Mary Kate Farmer, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been so much fun getting to know you as an artist, but then also you as a person. You're insanely talented. I love your music. I love your whole vibe. I appreciate you taking this time with me. I'm gonna have to come now. I'm gonna drag the wife, and we're gonna come out. And next time you're around, we'll have to come out and see ya, and hopefully say hey. But I'm just lucky to know you, and I appreciate your time.
Likewise, thank you so much. And clearly, we've got a lot in common too. So we can double date with the hubby and the wife.
That done. Name the time and place, and we're doing it.
Perfect. That would be so much fun. I really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. So, guys, You heard it here first. I'm going to make sure that the links to MK's stuff is in the description of the episode. So if you're listening along and you're interested in what we're talking about, you can just scroll down and click the link and get right to her music and get right to her merch, her tour dates, everything in between. You'll be able to access it in the description of the episode. We appreciate you guys tuning in today and for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care.